This was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and stood as a mighty icon of victory and strength. It was built in 280 BCE on the Greek island of Rhodes. It was a colossal statue paying homage to the sun god Helios, representing the failed conquest of the Rhodians after a year-long siege by Demetrius I of Macedon. Standing over 30 meters high, it was the tallest statue of its time and symbolized the new independence and strength of the island. Unfortunately though, this great structure's existence was never long enough. An earthquake destroyed it just 54 years after its completion, reducing the once great figure to a pile of rubble. However, the story of the Colossus doesn't end with its fall. Its impact resonates through history, art, and even modern engineering. Although it stood for such a brief moment, the statue's remains drew visitors from every corner of the world for centuries. How could such an incredible structure have been built, and what led to its eventual destruction? Let's learn the facts about this ancient engineering marvel. The construction of the Colossus was a huge undertaking, reflecting the genius of its time. After the victorious success in fending off the Macedonian siege, the Rhodians wanted to celebrate such a triumphant victory in the grandest manner possible. They sold abandoned weapons and siege equipment left behind by Demetrius' army to finance the creation of a colossal statue dedicated to their patron god, Helios. This giant task was assigned to the sculptor Chares of Lindos. Its construction started in 292 BCE and took 12 years to be completed. The Colossus was built in sections, using iron tie bars for the skeleton and bronze plates for the outer sculpture of the statue. Some stones were added as a support to stabilize the inner structure. This was a very innovative method of construction, given the tools and techniques available in the 3rd century BCE. Ancient accounts suggest that Chares devised a unique approach by constructing the statue in horizontal layers, covering each finished section with earth before going on to the next. Once the statue was complete, all the earth was removed, revealing the towering figure of Helios, majestically standing over the city of Rhodes. This method showed the superior engineering knowledge of the ancient Greeks, who built something truly awe-inspiring despite having crude tools. Interestingly, although the construction of Colossus marked a great technological leap, there are many debates on what the statue looked like. Most of the images that are very popular today, for example the one of Colossus astride the entrance to the harbour with ships passing between its legs, are nowadays recognised as historically fictitious. The statue's legs were probably close together, so the structure was stable and rested on a solid base rather than spanning the harbour. Coins from the Rhodians depict Helios with stylized spikes, which must have formed a conical sunburst around him. These images show a much more grounded figure than what is typically popularized, but still an overwhelming presence. The Colossus wasn't only a symbol of pride for the people of Rhodes, it was also awe-inspiring to anyone on the island or those who passed by the harbour's entrance. Standing 15 meters high on its pedestal, this must have gleamed in sunlight with the rays of the very god it represented through its bronze skin. The Colossus of Rhodes symbolized victory, resilience, and divine protection for the Rhodians. Unfortunately, like many fine structures, its time was rather short-lived. Only 54 years after its completion, a devastating earthquake hit Rhodes in 226 BCE, exerting severe destruction on the city and having the Colossus snap at the knees and fall. Although the Colossus was broken, it was still impressive. Even in its ruins, the statue's remains were so striking that people went to Rhodes to see the fallen giant centuries after its collapse. Offers to rebuild the statue came soon after its fall. Ptolemy III of Egypt, for instance, offered to finance its reconstruction. However, the people of Rhodes refused. An oracle had warned them that Helios was displeased. As a result, the remains of the Colossus were left untouched, lying in the harbour where they had fallen. Over time, myths and legends grew regarding the Colossus. One of the most iconic myths is that the statue stood with its legs spread apart, straddling the harbour. This image, though visually appealing, is strictly a creation of medieval imagination. Today, engineers and historians agreed that such a construction would have not been possible with the technology available at the time. The weight and size of the statue would have made it unstable if built in this pose. More likely, the statue stood upright on both feet, as most sculptures of that era did. Another common misconception is that the statue held a torch in one hand with a viewing platform, like the Statue of Liberty today, with some of these versions imagining that visitors could supposedly climb out of the statue and gaze from a platform located on its head or crowns. However, there is no ancient sources that describe the Colossus holding anything. It's much more likely that the statue stood in a simple and grounded pose, with one hand shading its eyes as it looked towards the horizon. The fate of the Colossus after its fall is shrouded in mystery. One widely told tale is that after the Arab conquest of Rhodes in 653 CE, the remaining bronze parts of the statue were sold to a merchant who supposedly moved them away on 900 camels. However, this tale is more mythical than factual, although often repeated. There is, after all, little evidence to support it, and the remaining bronze might have already been reused before the Arab conquest. In fact, it's likely that the bronze was melted down and repurposed, given how valuable it was at the time. Although it was destroyed, the legacy of the Colossus of Rhodes lives on. The statue continued to symbolize human ingenuity and ambition for centuries. Its influence appears in many works of art and literature. Even its memory has inspired modern architectural projects. Perhaps the most obvious comparison is with New York City's Statue of Liberty. The former, just like the latter, represents freedom and enlightenment. In fact, the world-famous poem, The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus, inscribed at the base of the Statue of Liberty, directly references the ancient wonder, connecting these two towering figures across time. Recently, there have been proposals to rebuild the Colossus. In 2008, an architectural team proposed building a modern version at the port, 5 times larger than the original. His vision was not to create an exact replica, but to build a towering, illuminated structure that would serve as a cultural and economic symbol for Rhodes. The new Colossus would be a tribute to the ancient wonder, while also serving as a modern center for cultural activities, hosting a museum, library, and lighthouse. Though this project has not yet come to life, it captures humans' endless fascination with this ancient wonder and the desire to reconnect with the past. Although many myths and legends have formed around the Colossus, it's important to separate the fact from the fiction. Some conspiracy theories even claim that the statue was never destroyed and its remains are hidden beneath the harbour or on the island. However, there's no evidence for these claims. History clearly tells us that the earthquake destroyed the statue. Most likely, the fragments were reused over time. The claim that the entire statue remains intact is simply unbelievable. The statue itself may be gone, but its story continues to inspire awe and wonder. Today, the Colossus remains one of the most enduring symbols of the ancient world, reminding us of the ingenuity and ambition of these great people. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the Colossus of Rhodes, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the wonders of the ancient world. Let us know in the comments what other historical topics you'd like us to cover next.